Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am going to be doing a green makeup look for St. Patrick's Day, and I will be using the 35S Sweet Oasis palette. So if you want to see the look I come up with, then please keep on watching. So the first shade I'm going to go into is called Infinity Pool. So it's this green color right over here. And I will be using the E27 brush. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply it right onto the crease area only. I'll be like flicking it out to the end of my brow. So I do have to say I'm sorry for not uploading for 2 whole weeks, but I've been just so tired. And also I just didn't know like what makeup looks to really do. I was just like, I don't know. I wasn't as inspired to do any makeup looks, so that's why it was also like harder for me to really like get up and set up and film. So sorry about that. But definitely today what I want to talk to you guys about is this movie on Netflix called I Care a Lot, which I saw it like maybe a month ago. Like, yeah, I think it's been a month ago that I saw this. I want to say it was February and we're in March already. Which it feels like super fast just because February is a very short month, so I feel like that's why it feels like it just flew by. But I thought it was a really good movie. So it starts off with a woman named Marla talking about how like, you have to basically be tough in this world and you have to really work hard to get to where you want in life. And then it shows that there's this man that's trying to get into this hospital. It looks like a hospital, and they just tackle him down. And then it just like and it shows the same guy. He's in the courthouse with Marla Grayson, and he's just basically trying to talk to the judge and say that, you know, he's capable of taking care of his mom, and Marla shouldn't have any rights over his mom's assets and things like that, because Marla is one of those, I guess, like a care provider, or that person that looks after elderly that can't look after themselves, or don't have family members that can like take care of them or do anything for them. So she basically gets assigned by like by a judge, and she is the one that decides whether to take them to a care home, or she also deals with their finances. So if they own homes or properties, like she takes care of that. And this man is trying to say that Marla doesn't even care about his mom, doesn't care whether she's actually being well taken care of. And then Marla basically says like, listen, like I am the perfect person to be the one to look after this elderly woman, because like I have no connection towards her. I don't have no feelings towards this person. So I would make the right judgment, because I wouldn't like, so basically she wouldn't like feel bad for like having her put into a care home if that is what's completely necessary, because you know, once you're older, sometimes you know you don't function the same anymore. So she says that, and the jury agrees and lets the son know, or yeah, it's her son, the son know that like she is going to be the one that makes the calls of over everything that has to deal with his mom. They're done with that, and Marla is outside the courthouse, and this guy is literally comes up to her and spits in her face, tells her she is an awful person for doing this, for not letting him see his mom, because she's not even letting him get into any kind of contact with his mom, which I think is like weird. And but she fights back and tells her like, get the hell out of my face. Like if you ever come over, if you ever spit in my face, if you ever try to attack me or talk to me, I will grab you by the balls. And yeah, so basically she tells him like, don't ever like threaten me because he's not gonna like it. And then the next scene, she's at her office and she has this whole wall of pictures, like headshots of all these elderly people, which I'm assuming are people that she takes care of. Marla and her friend, I don't know if she's her friend or I forgot what her name is. I think it's Tony or something. But she and Tony are driving and they go into this like clinic or hospital or whatever. It's like a those kind of things. I'm thinking it was a clinic. It's a clinic. And they're going to the clinic. They meet up with the doctor. And then the doctor is the one that basically tells her about one patient of hers. Tells her that she is a older lady that is gonna need of like care as well, Marla's care, because she has like early stages or like signs of dementia or something like that. And Marla asked her like, okay, so did she have any relatives? Did she have anyone close to her? Any friends? Anything like that? And the doctor tells her like, no, she has nobody. She's like completely alone. They call her like a white rabbit or something like that, which assuming is like someone that like is like one of the perfect candidates to be taken advantage of because she has absolutely anybody. So once they get the information from the doctor, they look her up, like look more information about her, where she lives, what she has done in her life, like what kind of work she did. They want to see like her credit card history, if she has any kind of debt. They see all that stuff. They just gather all this information to see if like she is like one of the good candidates to go after. The next scene is they're at court again with the same judge and that doctor that told her about this elderly woman in the first place is there as well, explaining to the judge the situation. Sorry, I was just eating a candy, so I'm like salivating. um, she's basically explaining to the judge that um this older woman has nobody and that she's gonna need a provider, someone that's gonna look after her. And then the judge tells Marla, because Marla is also there, and he tells her like, I know you're very busy with already all the other elderly people that you look after, but do you think you would be able to have another person that you can look after? So then she says, I'm like, given the circumstances, she's basically like, saying like, she did say yes right away. She's always like, given the circumstances, I do have a lot on my plate, but knowing about this woman and hearing her story, I feel very, very bad about it that she has nobody. So you know what, Judge, I'll take her. Like I'll look after her. I'll deal with everything that has to do with her. So then the judge, grants her this whole paper thingy, and she goes to her house, the lady's house, tells her like, oh, hi, like I'm Marla. I'm gonna be the one that's gonna look after you. And she's like confused. She's like, what do you mean? And she's like, yeah, the judge has granted me access to be the one to like basically look after you and make sure you're okay and make decisions for you. And then Gladys, I don't know her name, but the elderly woman, Gladys, she's like, you know what? Like, I am fine. I don't know what's going on, but like, I don't need anybody to look after me. I'm like completely fine. I don't need a caretaker. But Marla tells her, like, I understand, ma'am, this is very confusing, but the judge has granted me basically like if it was custody, I guess, over this person. And then her friend, Tony, comes over and like tells her, listen, Mrs. Patterson. Oh yeah, there you go, Mrs. Patterson. That like you have to come with us. Like if you think this is a mistake, then you can come and talk to somebody about this and blah blah. So she packs up like a small little suitcase. They just take her in, and then like the crazy thing is like they quickly go to work. Like they start like selling her things that are in her house, and they're basically gonna sell her house, which is insane to me. Like I'm like, how is that even illegal? Like I don't know. But so that's what they do. So they take her in the car and they take her to a care home. At this care home, um, Marla just tells her like, you're gonna be well looked after here. They're gonna take care of you. They will, serve you all your meals, and I'll even tell Mr. Rice, who's in charge of the facility, to make sure to look after you and take good care of you because you're my client and blah blah, making it seem like she's such a good person. And the next day, so Marla goes on an adventure trying to try to basically find anything valuable in her house, and then she finds like this key, and this key looks like a one of those keys for like those safe boxes at the bank. So she goes to the bank, and the bank she finds her box and things, and she a Bible, um or was it like some kind of book? So in that book it was like cut out from the pages, and then there's like a little pouch, and in that pouch there was diamonds. So Marla was very happy about that, obviously. While that is going on, Tony is at Mrs. Peterson's house, and they're completely remodeling. They're like painting the house. They completely got rid of all the furniture, all of Mrs. Peterson's belongings, and then we see this man pull up in a taxi, right? This mask calls, like, is asking for Mrs. Peterson, like, oh, I'm here for Mrs. Peterson. And Tony answers the door, right? And she's like, well, Mrs. Peterson isn't here. And he's all like, oh, I'm sorry, then I must have been a mistake. And so he quickly like walks away. But Tony kind of yells out to him like, who called you? Like, because obviously it's like a taxi came, then someone had to call them for that taxi. But he already like sped away. And then again at that moment we see this man, and he's picking out like different like small desserts, so like macarons. He's wearing like a business suit, and he had like, and then he goes into his big like SUV, like he has a driver and everything, so he seems important. And he is waiting in the parking lot, and then here comes a cab, like, so they're like facing each other, the cars. And we see that the man that was picking out the macaroons gets out of the car, and then we see the guy that went to Mrs. Peterson's house gets out of the taxi. So I kind of like scared to tell the man. He's like I went to Mrs. Peterson's house and she was in there. The guy calmly tells him like, were you there on time? And he tells her, yes, I was there on time. I went to ring the doorbell, and this other lady answered and told me that she doesn't live there anymore. I sorry, sir. Like, I don't know where she could be. And he tells him like, I don't understand. What do you mean she moved? And he tells like, well, I don't know. I just left and I came straight here. And so this guy, like this man, is like clearly annoyed and not liking that Mrs. Peterson isn't with him. And then he gets his bodyguard to come like close to him. He grabs a gun, and so the taxi man freaks out. He's like, "I'm so sorry. Like I don't know what to say." Like, he's like freaking out because like, please, like, don't kill me. And the guy with the gun tells him like, you messed up. Like, I hate not being able to have this day with my mother. I love my mother so much. So we see that. So Mrs. Peterson and him and Mr. Peterson, I'm guessing, um, they're related. That's his mom. So he's annoyed and he tells the taxi driver like, go find whatever, like wherever my mom is at. Like, you have to go find her. You'll have like 3 days or something. And so he quickly like walks away. He tells her, yes, of course. And so he leaves. And in one scene, it actually shows the taxi man go to Mr. Peterson one day and tell him that, oh, so your mom is in a care home. He gives him a picture of Marla Grayson and tells him that she's in charge of all his mom's assets. So he gets upset, obviously, and throws his smoothie at the window and tells him that he has to go get his mom. He leaves and like tries to go, obviously basically kidnap the mom from the care home that she's in. So they're at the care home that she's in, and they pretend to be people that are interested in having their mom sent to this facility, but they kind of want to like get a tour and get to see like this is a nice place for her to be in. So the man that's in charge kind of goes ahead and gives them like a tour. So they're going like from like section to section of the place. So they're basically going from section to section of like the home, and then they're just like trying to look, clearly find her, because they got a call from Marla, because I forgot how she got to know that they're trying to like get her to escape. But so that's why they're like, trying to get the guys to get out. They're clearly trying to like get the guys and arrest them. And then while this is all happening, Marla's like rushing to the facility where Mrs. Peterson is at. They found Mrs. Peterson and they try to take her, and they're like, they almost escape with her, but they get caught. So the rescue was unsuccessful, and Mr. Peterson gets obviously upset by this, and at this point Mr. Peterson is very pissed. Like, he is upset, he's mad, he just wants his mom back. Obviously he calls up a friend or an acquaintance, I don't know if it's a friend, but like a person. And as Marla is doing exercise, there's a TV and it's the news, and it shows up and actually shows a picture of the doctor that she works with, that like lets her know with which elderly is ready to be under her care. And they announced that she got murdered at her clinic the other night. And so we see that Marla gets home and Tony's like telling her like, babe, let's pack up, like this is getting too much, like we should just like leave and like disappear from here, but Marla, it doesn't want to, just because, mainly because of the diamonds, to be honest, because I doubt if like she didn't find those diamonds, I doubt she'd be like, okay, this is not worth it, like she's not even worth that much money. But because of the diamonds, she definitely, that's what she's saying, like, no, like we can't leave. But Tony like gets upset at her because she's like this is like, I don't want us to be in any danger, like I don't want to get shot, and I don't want you to get shot. So Tony asks her like, okay, so what is the plan, like what are we gonna do? And she tells her like, don't worry, I'll take care of it. So what she does is that she goes to visit Mrs. Peterson. She tells her about like, you know what, like you'll never escape this place, I'm gonna make it miserable being here, because she was like telling her like who are you? And Mrs. Peterson didn't want to say anything. And then Marla tells her like, you know what, like in the end no one's gonna come for you. You're gonna die in this place, and I'll make sure there's like you like don't get any good food and whatever. She's just like basically like getting her upset. And so Mrs. Peterson like tries to choke her, and so she makes a case to the judge, telling him like, you know, I think she's gotten worse. I think she needs to go into a psychiatric. It's so hard for me to say that word, but those mental facilities. And he agrees with her and tells her like, you know what, I think you're right. And so they move Mrs. Peterson to a mental hospital, which one day Marla is like in a parking lot, but someone injects her, and then she wakes up um in this like really like flat field. It looks like in the middle of nowhere, and it's Mr. Peterson, and tells her like, you know, like you're gonna like bring my mom back to me, or like you're gonna die basically. And they set it up as in she was like drinking and driving. So they put like alcohol in her car, they strap her in, and then they like push the pedal. They use like a rock or something to push the pedal in, and so the car goes flying. She wakes up though. Once the car like hits the water, she wakes up, and so she's like trying to get out of the car, and you know, she can't unbuckle her seatbelt, like it's like stuck and stuff like that. And then but she gets out of the seatbelt, and she's struggling, you know, because she's the doors in the window, you know, are shut, and then like the pressure of the water is like harder to open it. So she's like trying to like break the glass. So she's trying with her foot like to like hit it really hard. But it's not budging, and it's like, I think the scene cuts where like it just shows like nothing in the water, everything seems so like still, until finally she pops her head out, and I'm like, dude, that was a long time underwater, to be honest with you. I'm like, no way, no way that she survived that, like, because it was a good time of her kicking and being like immersed in water for her to actually like get out of it, you know. But she does. She goes back to her house, and she finds her lover Tony. She's on the ground, and she like goes to her, and it smells like gasoline because they they also broke into her house, and they beat up Tony. So that's why she's like laying there passed out. And Marla goes to check on her to see if she was even alive, and she sees that she has a pulse, so she's just dragging her out of the house. I'm like, this girl really wants to live, because like damn, like going through all that is crazy. But yeah, she gets her out just in time before the whole house explodes, which is also, I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? Like, how did it not explode before they got out? Because that thing was on for like a good while. Because like when they kidnapped Marla, they were at her house too. Like, so Marla tells her like, we need to create a plan to you know, get rid of him. So they create a plan where they basically break into his office, not his office, but the building he works at, and they wait for him until once he gets into his SUV, they inject him. Well, Martin injects him because she was waiting in his SUV already, and from there they basically get him naked. They don't basically get him naked. They drop him in the middle of the road, and then from there someone finds him, and he's in the hospital, and Marla's there like they're waiting until he wakes up. And she tells him like, oh, you know what, the judge thinks that you are incapable of taking care of yourself. They found you on the side of the road. It seemed like you were obviously not mentally all there, since you just woke up, so someone just completely found you just there lying all by yourself, naked. So now you're gonna be under my care. And he tells him like, you know, I won. You have no ability to actually like do anything, because I'm the one deals with all things you. And so from there, he clearly sees that she did win. So he tells her, I know you wanted me to pay you, but I have a better option for you. Like, what if we become partners? What if we do everything you want to do? Keep doing this whole like charade of taking care of old people, and we make a lot of money together. And she decides to go in business with him. And then all you see is that Marla is getting interviewed by like these newscast stations or something like that, saying like, how did you become like the most rich person in the world and you're only like 30? Like, you're still so young. And he's like, oh well, just working hard and doing what I love, or whatever kind of BS that she was giving. And we see that she gets out of that interview, and she's like walking with Tony, and they're like laughing and blah blah blah. And then here comes the guy from the beginning of the movie that was getting upset with Marla because Marla wasn't allowing him to even visit his mom. And she looked at him, and then he points a gun at her. He just shoots her right there and then. And Tony is right next to her, and he goes and grabs a hold of her, and he tells her, my mom died. And so I guess like that was his breaking point, that he didn't get to see his mom on her like last moments of life, like because he wasn't allowed to even visit her, and he thought like she was a mean person. And yeah, so that's basically how it ends. It was a good movie. I totally recommend you guys watching it. I liked it. I think when I saw like the reviews about it, it was like a 5 out of 10 stars or something like that. But I don't know why, but like I actually liked it. So if you like those kind of movies, honestly, this makeup look was a little bit too much. I don't know. I don't love it. I don't like it. Like, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Like, I don't know. And it makes me think I did this look already. And I think like the dark lip, and it makes me look, yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one.